This is a calm public service announcement. Greetings all. This is Reverend Samantha Phoenix as the voice of calm. As an entity, it is our goal to assist the greater good for the allness. While we would not normally make a public announcement about the activities of other businesses, we have promoted and endorsed the Alife Virtual Grid as a sponsor due to the radio and video streams, as well as virtual property that was seemingly donated and paid for by this entity and its co-founders. We regretfully had been negligent in our previous research into the owner of the Alife Virtual Grid. We, in good faith, accepted the answer that was given for its banning on the OpenSIM community and hubs as a hypergrid. While this may only affect those who have joined us on that grid, we have felt a responsibility for our co-founder, Reverend Samantha Phoenix, to share the information we have witnessed, documented, and uncovered. It is with a moment of sadness we offer an apology to any of those who may have been affected by this experience, especially as any associate or member of the CALM community. All endorsements and services associated with the Alife Virtual Grid and its owner have been severed to rectify any further unintended harm by our organization. We appreciate your time and attention and ask that you listen to the following message from our co-founder. Thank you for listening to the Voice of Calm. This is Reverend Samantha Phoenix, and I wish to take this moment to address this topic of fraud on the Alife Virtual Grid. A little over 2.5 years ago, I was searching for a virtual space to be the home of Calm Ministries and found the Alife Virtual Grid. I assumed several roles during my time, including being what is called an investor. While the presentation of what that involves seems to be an excellent opportunity, the truth, unfortunately, is that there is no actual business that is being invested in. By the direct words of its owner and operator, Soren Todes, we invested in our virtual land and services, which were supposed to be ours to keep at no additional cost for an unlimited time. However, even when paid for, the moment there is a disagreement or a person in any way stands up for themselves when being berated or mistreated by Soren, that person is considered to be egotistical and rude, among many other derogatory terms that have been used against myself and others, to include documented racial and cultural hate speech. This is unfortunately a typical behavior of a narcissistic personality, which has become more and more apparent as the stresses of the community demand have been refused. I am not here to air my personal grievances. However, there are many facts that should be known before allowing your virtual world viewer to even connect to this grid. I will assure you, your greatest achievement will be having your IP address banned from their grid login. Number 1. The Alife virtual cryptocurrency is not a legally backed crypto system and has no actual USD value. The OpenSIM Play Money system is what has been enabled, giving the owner God power over an unlimited amount of coins with nothing to back them in an actual banking system. Anyone with a computer and a couple of gigs on their hard drive can set this up on their own grid system. It should also be noted that when you purchase 500 coins for your $2.50, they immediately are devalued for a USD conversion by 50%, meaning they are only a value of $1.25 the moment they enter your account. According to the play money aspect of this grid, it is only by the discretion of its owner that you may have an exchange granted. I'm going to consider myself fortunate that I was able to receive any of the USD value from this experience. I would also like to note here that the return of my $300 investment was refused for services rendered and my keen ability to speak my mind clearly and without cowering. Number 2. The majority of the content of the Alife virtual grid that is being sold is a direct violation of intellectual property infringement guidelines. Most of the content has been created by people on the OpenSIM community grids that have given away their work for free under the expressed stipulations that it is not to be sold on any other grids. Unfortunately, some of the OS community's best creators are currently being defrauded by several active members of the Alife virtual grid by copybot usage. If you are a content creator in the OpenSim community, it is very likely you will find your items being sold there. I was appalled and astonished by the theft I noticed as I explored the OpenSim hypergrids. To the partial credit of some of those people that uploaded the content, it was originally given away for free. However, the owner, Soren Toadies, via his grid settings, changed all of the prices to be enforced at 100 coins or more, with the threat to reclaim the virtual grid space any free shops were operating in. I, unfortunately, was also complicit by my own silence for the past several months since this discovery. Number 3. No matter how an opportunity is presented, the rules will change the moment the grid god decides he doesn't like what's been chosen after telling a person to do as they wish with their virtual property, whether paid for or given with strings. Many of the actual content creators and entertainers have left this grid for that lack of consistency and having their scheduled events canceled by the grid owner. Number 4. This is one of my most concerning issues. Due to my previous personal conversations with Soren Toadies, he has explained to me he has the cloud servers that are used because his job is testing the security of the servers for the companies that are reported by himself to be the sponsors of Alife Virtual. While I am not a coder, I have been working with IT since 1999, and we all know a security tester is a nicer name for a hacker. Why this should be a concern for anyone using the Alife virtual grid is because the packets that are being transported via the viewer can easily be corrupted by codes that will stay in your computer within the viewer's cache. From my own experience, this has caused my viewer to have crashing and freezing issues while on other grids, as well as other network issues. However, this did not occur until after my first disagreement with the grid's owner. The following day, my PayPal account used for that grid was also attacked and tried to reset my password to get control of my account. I have had my personal PayPal account for over 20 years, and that was the first attempt to breach it that has ever occurred. I was fortunately able to stop the attack, change passwords, and then begin my investigation into what may be happening on my network. After quarantining my connection to the Alife virtual grid to only one computer, completely clearing the cache, reinstalling the viewer, and not logging into the Alife virtual grid, I solved many of the issues. While I have no proof of any rogue codes, I can attest to how my connection to the other virtual grids and some other network issues I've been having since that disagreement cleared up the moment my IP was banned from logging into the Alife virtual grid. You can make your own conclusions. Because of my personal endorsement and the endorsement of our organization, I have felt a deep responsibility to make these practices known so anyone about to follow the path down that rabbit hole is well informed, as I wish I had been. The guise of a supportive and benevolent owner will crumble the moment you refuse to agree with the demands. Now that I have shared this awareness, I am absolved of my complicitness and observations of unethical and immoral financially fraudulent activities. Unfortunately, we have been unable to find much recourse in the actual legal matters of this theft of funds and intellectual property. This message is to publicly remove any further association of my person or organization with the Alife virtual grid. I encourage you to do your own research, and I will gladly provide the aforementioned documentation to anyone that requests it from the caalm.org contact form or a direct message to caalmministries@gmail.com. May you walk in unity and the understanding of unconditional love. If this helps stop only one person from the emotional and financial persecution of the Alife virtual grid's owner, then it has served its purpose. Many blessings, and thank you for listening.